This is the Midland Home Service.
It's a but I can well. Are you me any good? The bonny lass of Benwell. She's lang-legged and mother-like. Are you me any good? And see she's raking up the dike.
We present the Song Carriers.
Quayside for sailors. Are you me any good? And Castlegarth for tailors. The Gateshead Hills for millers. Are you me any good? And North Shore for keelers.
The third of a further series of programmes in which Ewan MacColl discusses the songs and singers of the British folk song revival.
Horton and Hollywell. Are you me any good? And Bonnie Seaton Delaval. There's Hartley Pans for sailors. Are you me any good? And Bedlington for nailers.
Vel Atkinson, a medical student from County Durham, leading the Birtley Folk Song Club in the singing of My Hinny Boord, a beautiful example of regional folk song handled with restraint and delicacy by both soloist and chorus. The term regional song or regional repertoire is one which one hears more and more frequently in the revival. What does it mean? Well, until recently, the revival has been concerned almost exclusively with matters of repertoire. The first real indication that British revival singers were searching for a national identity came when they discovered the industrial songs made by Lancashire weavers and Durham miners, the forebitters and shanties made by nonconformist merchant seamen in the 19th century, and, of course, the children's street songs. There followed a period when the British folk scene was dominated by the Scots repertoire. An Irish period followed this, and this in turn gave way to what one might call the English phase, that is, to a period when the English repertoire of country songs was rediscovered. Now, each of these national phases has provided material for a multinational repertoire. The first signs of regionalism came from Tyneside, an area rich in local songs, some of which are folk songs by definition, others written in the folk idiom by 19th century local bards and creators of music hall material. By far the most consistent of the Tyneside evangelists has been Bob Davenport, a Gateshead art student who, for the last 7 or 8 years, has occupied the role of Tyneside cultural attaché, acting unpaid, in the London area. Here he is singing Durham Jail by Tommy Armstrong.
You'll all hold the Durham jail, but were it you much surprise to see the prisoners in the yard when they're on exercise? This yard is built around with walls so noble and so strong. We have our guns that has to bide the time get short or long, for there's nae good looking Durham jail, there's nae good look at all. What's breeding skilly for but just to make you small? When you gone to Durham jail, they'll find you we employ. They'll dress you up so fancy in a suit of corduroy. They'll give you a cap without a peak and never ask your size. Like your suit, it's corduroy and comes down now your eyes. And there's nae good looking Durham jail, there's nae good look at all. What's breeding skilly for but just to make you small? Your first month is the worst of all, your feelings they will try. There's no but 2 great lumps of wood on which you had to lie. And after that you get a bed, but it's as hard as stones. You daresn't make a move at need for fear you break your bones. And there's nae good looking Durham jail, there's nae good look at all. What's breeding skilly for but just to make you small? All kinds of work there's gunning on upon them noble flats. Teas and oakum making bars and weaving cocoa mats. When ye gone in, you may be thin, but they can make you thinner. If your oakum isn't teased, the bone to stop your dinner. And there's nae good looking Durham jail, there's nae good look at all. What's breeding skilly for but just to make you small? The shoes you get are often 10s, the smallest size is 9. They're big enough to make a skiff or bide upon the Tyne. And if you're feeling carded knees, just make yourselves at yem. Lap your clays around your shoes and climb inside of them. For there's nae good looking Durham jail, there's nae good look at all. What's breeding skilly for but just to make you smile? You get your meat and clays for nout, your hose and fire and free. All your meals brought to the door, how happy ye should be. Soap and tool and a wooden spoon and a little Benny's pot. They bring you papers every week for to wipe your butt. And there's nae good luck in Durham jail, there's nae good luck at all. What's breeding skilly for but just to make you smile?
Not a particularly imaginative singer, perhaps, but his direct, open delivery suits the song very well indeed. He possesses a voice of considerable power, but lacks flexibility, with the result that his effectiveness is only apparent in those songs where a high decibel count is more important than inventiveness. This is not to say that his singing lacks tension. Often, however, the tension is the result of the voice being overproduced, so that we get the feeling that we're being sung at rather than to. Another apostle of northeastern regionalism is Lou Killen, also from Gateshead. Here he is, accompanied on the penny whistle by Colin Ross, singing Up the Ra.
Up the Ra, down the Ra, up the Ra, lass every day for shape. Buckle on my bonny henny, though bangs the mother me canny bear. Black as a crow, my bonny henny, though bangs are my lass every day. Those are clack-handed, my bonny henny, those double-jib-banded, my canny bear. Up the Ra, down the Ra, up the Ra, lass every day for shape. Buckle on my bonny henny, though bangs the mother me canny bear. For hide the hue, my bonny henny, though bangs the craw, me canny ben. Up the Ra, my bonny henny, though bangs the ma, me canny ben. Up the Ra, down the Ra, up the Ra, lass every day for shape. Buckle on my bonny henny, though bangs the mother me canny ben.
A beautiful accompaniment by Colin Ross, who gets better all the time. Ross, a North Shields schoolteacher who plays Northumbrian small pipes and the fiddle, is one of the most important instrumentalists to come from the revival. Lou Killen's singing, however, is too portentous for the piece, which calls for some degree of insouciance if it is to be really effective. A lighter tone, perhaps, would have been more suitable. Another important centre of the regionalist movement is Lancashire, or rather Manchester, where Harry Boardman, a Failsworth advertising man, has spent the last 10 years exhorting the people of the Northwest to rise up in defence of their traditional dialect. Here he is singing The Collier Lads.
I went out to get some water for me tea. Caught me foot and down a stumble, the collier lads come kissing me. My mother said I mustn't have a collier, it would surely break her heart. I don't care what my mother tells me, I'll have a collier for my sweetheart. Collier lads get gold and silver, Ferrantes lads get nought but brass. And who'd be married to a lad from Ferrantes when there are plenty of collier lads? If you leave your collier sweetheart, I'll buy you a guinea gold ring. You shall have a silver cradle for to rock your baby in. I don't want your silks and satins, I don't want your guinea gold ring. I don't want your silver cradle for to rock my baby in. My mother said I could be a lady if from a collier lad I'd part, but I'd sooner walk on the bottom of the ocean than I'd give up me collier sweetheart. I went out to get some water for me tea. Caught me foot and down I stumble, the collier lads come kissing me.
An engaging little song sung with considerable charm, though Boardman's tendency to lean a little towards crooning is rather disturbing. Like many regional singers who have a strong feeling for dialect, his musical judgment tends to be rather less developed than his sense of local pride, with the result that his repertoire is overloaded with items chosen because of their dialect rather than because of their musical value. The fact is, a poor song does not become a good one merely because it has an accent. Dennis Turner of Bolton, Lancashire, has been singing for little more than a year. He has considerable talent and his development has been very rapid. Here he is singing To the Begging I Will Go.
Of all the trades in England, a beggar's is the best. For when a beggar's tired, he can sit him down and rest. And a begging I will go, and a begging I will go. I've a poke for me oatmeal and another for me salt. I've a pair of little crutches that should see how I can halt. And a begging I will go, and a begging I will go. I've got patches on me fusty coat, I've a black patch on me ee. But when it comes to tuppenny ale, I can see as well as thee. And a begging I will go, and a begging I will go. Me breeches they are nobbut holes, but me heart is free of care. As long as I've got me belly full, me backside can go bare. And a begging I will go, and a begging I will go. I can rest when I am tired, I heed no master's bell. A man 'ud be daft to be a king when a beggar lives so well. And a begging I will go, and a begging I will go. There's a bed for me where'er I lay, and I don't pay no rent. I've got no noisy looms to mind, and I am right content. And a begging I will go, and a begging I will go. I've been deep at Duckenfield, and I've been blind at Shaw, and many a right and willing lass I've bedded in the straw. And a begging I will go, and a begging I will go.
That song, by the way, has a curious history. It was once popular throughout England in a score of variants, but appears to have survived only in Lancashire in that 19th century version, though Scottish versions are plentiful. All the versions derive from a single source, a song written for an Elizabethan play, The Jovial Crew by Richard Broome, who, in addition to being a dramatist, was also Ben Jonson's manservant. And now, from Northern Ireland, Moira McGee, who works as an advertising layout artist and who anticipated the Belfast regional revival by some 3 or 4 years. Moira McGee singing The Inniskillen Dragoon.
A beautiful damsel of fame and renown, a gentleman's daughter from Monaghan town. As she rode in the barracks, this beautiful maid, she stood in the coach to see the dragoons on parade. They were all dressed out like gentlemen's sons, with their bright shining armour and their carbine guns. With their silver-mounted pistols she observed them full soon, because that she loved an Inniskillen dragoon. The bright sons of Mars, as they stood on the right, their armour did shine like the bright stars of night. Said she, lovely Willie, you've listed too soon to serve as a royal Inniskillen dragoon. Oh, now, dearest Flora, your pardon I crave. Until now and forever I will be your slave. Your parents insult you both morning and noon, for fear you should wed an Inniskillen dragoon. Oh, now, dearest Willie, mind what I do say, for children are obliged their parents to obey. And when you're leaving Ireland, they'll all change their tune, saying, Lord be with you in Enniskillen Dragoon. Fare thee well, Enniskillen, fare thee well for a while, and all around the borders of Erin's green isle. When the wars they are over, you'll return in full bloom. They'll all welcome home their Enniskillen Dragoon. Now the war is over, they've returned at last. The regiment lies in Dublin, and Willie's got a pass. Last Sunday they were married, and Willie was the groom. And now she enjoys her Enniskillen Dragoon.
The regionalist movement of the folk revival has, in addition to Tyneside, Lancashire and Northern Ireland, established itself in the West Country, notably in the Plymouth area, and in Hull too there are signs of an emerging Yorkshire revival. The most recent recruit to the regionalist camp, however, is London. London has been the centre of the folk revival right from the beginning, and most of the developments which have taken place in the revival have been initiated there. The opening up and exploration of the Scots and Irish basic repertoires, for instance, was carried out by Scots and Irish singers domiciled in London, using the London clubs as a kind of national song laboratory. It was in London, too, that the Tyneside and Lancashire repertoires got their first hearing. The one area which was not represented in the new repertoire was London itself. There were London singers in plenty, but singing Scots, Irish, Tyneside, West Country and East Anglian songs. There was a feeling that the accents of Stepney, Bethnal Green, Battersea were unsuited to traditional songs. The legacy of the music hall, where London working-class speech was always funny or outrageously sentimental, operated against the development of a London regionalist approach to folk music. During the last 6 months, however, the position has changed radically. Many young London singers have become aware of the fact that a Cockney accent does not automatically mean that a human being ceases to communicate ideas or emotions like joy, anger, tenderness and compassion. They have furthermore begun to realize that for some 300 years, the London broadside presses fed the entire country with hundreds of thousands of broadside songs and ballads, many of which were the work of London tavern poets and songwriters. The exploration of this vast and almost forgotten repertoire is preoccupying the attention of more and more young London singers. The results of their researches may well prove to be one of the most important extensions of the national treasure house of songs since the revival got underway. Jim O'Connor is a 25-year-old London schoolteacher who has entered the revival not via Scots, Irish or English pastoral song, but directly via the London regionalist route. Here he is singing Ratcliffe Highway.
As I was a-walking down London, from Wapping to Ratcliffe Highway, I chanced to pop into a gin shop to spend a long night and a day. A young doxy come rolling up to me and asked if I'd money to sport for a bottle of wine changed a guinea. And she quickly replied, that's the sort. When the bottle was put on the table, there were glasses for everyone. When I asked for the change of me guinea, she tipped me a verse of her song. Then this lady flew into passion and placed both her hands on her hips, saying, sailor, don't you know our fashion? Do you think you're on board of your ship? Well, if this is your fashion to rob me, such a fashion I'll never abide. So launch at the change of me guinea, or else I'll give you a broadside. A gold watch hung over the mantel, so the change of me guinea I take, and down the stairs I run nimbly, saying, down me old boots, I'm well paid. Well, the night being dark in me favour, to the river I quickly did creep, and I jumped on a boat bound for Deptford, and got safe aboard of me ship. So come all you bold young sailors that ramble down Ratcliffe Highway. If you should pop into a gin shop, beware lads how long you do stay. For the songs and the liquors'll invite you and will tear all your heart in a rage. And if you pay a guinea for a bottle, you can go to that devil for change.
Sandra Kerr is another of the London regionalists. Unlike O'Connor, however, her journey has been from American songs to standard English country songs. Now, however, she is beginning to select for her repertoire an increasing number of songs which have arisen out of specific aspects of London life. Here she is singing Through Moorfields, one of the many 18th century Bedlamite songs written about London's dreaded hospital for the insane.
'Twas through Moorfields I wandered, by myself all alone. I heard a maid in Bedlam making her sad moan. She was wringing of her tender hands and a tearing of her hair, crying, "Oh, cruel parents, you have proved to me severe. It's all through my own true love, a prentice lad you know." And he was pressed to go to sea, which proved my overthrow, which caused me sadly to lament and turn at my poor brain, crying, "Oh, shall I ever see my own true love again?" It was early the next morning this young sailor came on shore. He walked and he talked down alongside by Bedlam door, and he gave unto the porter a broad piece of gold, saying, "Bring that young girl to me, she's the joy of my soul." He took her from her strawy bed and set her on his knee, saying, "I am that same young man your parents pressed to see. But now my cares are gone and all my sorrows they are fled. Then adieu unto these cold chains and this cold strawy bed."
The next singer, Ted Culver, is a butcher from Enfield who has been singing for only a few months. He sings as he speaks, in the rather flat, laconic Cockney, which is far removed from stage Cockney as music hall Irish is removed from the speech of Connemara. Culver is still feeling his way towards a traditional style and is still rather tentative in matters of phrasing. The degree to which he identifies with the material, however, is extraordinary. Ted Culver singing Botany Bay.
Come, O young men of learning, and a warning take by me. I'll have you quit night walking and shun bad company. I'll have you quit night walking, or else you'll rule the day. The day you are transported, lads, and sent to Botany Bay. I was brought up in London town, a place I know right well. Brought up by honest parents, and the truth to you I'll tell. Brought up by honest parents and reared most tenderly, till I became a roving blade which proved me destiny. Me character soon taken was, and I was sent to jail. Me friends, they tried to clear me, but nothing could prevail. At the Old Bailey sessions, the judge to me did say, the jury's found you guilty, lad, so you're bound for Botany Bay. To see me aged father dear as he stood against the bar, to see me aged mother her old grey locks to tear, in tearing of her old grey locks these words to me did say, oh son, what have you done to be sent to Botany Bay? 'Twas on the 28th of May we sailed up the river clear, and all things being safe on board from England we did steer, and every ship that did pass by we heard the sailors say, there goes a bunch of clever hands, they are bound for Botany Bay. There is a girl in Manchester, a girl I know right well, and when I get me liberty, alone with her I'll dwell. 'Tis then I mean to marry her, no more to go astray. I'll shun all evil company and bid adieu to Botany Bay.
And to conclude this roundup of regionalist revival singers, here is Jim Doody, a 27-year-old London schoolteacher singing The Bold English Navvy.
I'm a bold English navvy that fought on the line. The first place I met was Newcastle on Tyne. I've been tired, sick and weary from working all day. To a cot by the hillside I'm making my way. I first had me supper and then had a shave. For courting this fair maid I highly prepared. And the old stars in the sky and the moon it shone down, and I hit for the road with me navvy boots on. I knocked at me love's window and me knock she did know, and out of her slumber she woken so slow. I knocked there again and she said, is that John? And I quickly replied with me navvy boots on. And then she opened the window and then left me in, and into her bedroom she landed me then. The old night being cold and the blankets rolled on, and I slept there all night with me navvy boots on. And then early next morning at the dawn of the day, said I to me true love, 'tis time to go away. Sleep down, oh sleep down, for you know you've done wrong, for to sleep here all night with your navvy boots on. And then he bent down his head with a laugh and a smile, saying, what could I do, love, in that length of time? And I know if I done it for fun, and I'll do it again with me navvy boots on. And then 6 months being over and 7 at least, when this pretty fair maid got stout round the waist. For 8 months being over, when 9 comes along, she handed him a son with his navvy boots on. So come on, you pretty fair maids, wherever you're led, don't ever let a navvy boy into your bed. For when he'll get warm and he'll think upon yon, sure he'll jump on your bones with his navvy boots on.
The Song Carriers was introduced by Ewan MacColl. The singers heard in the programme were Bob Davenport, Harry Boardman, Lou Killen, Dennis Turner, Moira McGee, Jim O'Connor, Sandra Kerr, Ted Calver, and Jim Doody. The recorded programme was produced by Charles Parker. The last programme in this further series on the singers of the folk song revival will be broadcast at the same time next Friday.